I found $40,000 in gold coins hidden behind a wall, but I didn't get to keep them. My former coworker thought he was set for life when he stumbled upon the box and quit his job on the spot, calling my boss a loser as he walked out. He'd been a problem from day one, making fun of me, snooping through my Instagram page, showing pictures of me to our boss. I overheard him saying he'd quit if he won the lottery, which I thought was a joke. I bought fake gold coins online and hid them in a metal box, waiting for the perfect moment. That day finally came when he found the box and called our boss a loser before quitting. He said he was rich, but little did he know he'd just made my day. My boss told us later that we were going to fire him anyway. I'm still waiting for the look on his face when he finds out the coins are worthless.
My husband's father posted a video of himself coughing all over a Subway employee, sent it to me, and captioned it "Snowflake Sandwich Slave Panic." It was the most irresponsible thing I'd ever seen him do. He thought it was hilarious to mock people taking COVID seriously, but when he wouldn't stop making fun of masks online, I had to call him out on it. His family, he saw the video too, and were appalled by his behavior. Then he got COVID and died. I'm sorry for my husband's loss, but I wasn't exactly devastated. Now, his mom is after me, convinced that I'm responsible for turning his family against him. She thinks I posted the video online myself, even though it was her own son who did that. She says I'm a traitor who invaded his privacy and turned his whole family against him with my bullying. But the truth is, he brought this on himself. And now she's lashing out at me for something that isn't even true. It's just too much to handle. I finally revealed my family's darkest secret to the world, and I couldn't be more relieved. Growing up, my grandfather was a monster. He abused me, my siblings, and other kids in our neighborhood. My grandmother knew it was happening, and she did nothing. But that wasn't the worst part. It was her response when I confronted her about it all those years later. If you don't like it, tell him to stop. Tell him to stop? She didn't even bother trying to protect me. And then there were my parents' friends from church. They knew what was going on and just looked the other way. It's a miracle I'm alive after growing up in that toxic environment. But when I found out my mom was using a hashtag about protecting children, something snapped inside of me. I couldn't keep their secrets anymore. So I posted everything online for everyone to see. And you know what? I feel free.
I was livid when I found out my brother had secretly proposed at my own wedding, despite me explicitly telling him not to. My mom freaked out when she discovered what happened, threatening to leave our family gathering if I didn't let a stunt slide. But I wasn't having it. I told her flat out that he'd overstepped. The final straw was last weekend at his wedding. Instead of giving a heartfelt welcome to my new sister-in-law, I stood up in front of 200 guests and dropped the bombshell. My wife and I are having a baby. The room fell silent, except for my mom's angry muttering, but my feisty grandmother shut her down quick enough. When my brother tried to call me out on it, I reminded him that his own mom had given me permission to steal the spotlight, and I had the text messages to prove it. I was forced to eat a fish cutlet at my mother's dinner party when I was just 9 years old. I knew the risks. It would make me vomit and break out in hives. But she refused to believe me, pushing me to prove I wasn't allergic. My mother held up the fish cutlet for the guests to see, proud of her traditional cooking. Trapped with no way out, I stood up to my mother in front of everyone. "Mom, I'm allergic." She pushed it towards me, saying, "Eat." That's when I knew I had to act fast. I took a deep breath and ate the fish cutlet. 10 minutes later, I barfed all over my mother's expensive carpet, in front of our guests. After that, I never had to eat seafood again. And more than that, I learned a lesson about standing up for myself, no matter what the cost.
My sister tried to kill herself by crashing her car into an embankment outside our town, leaving her in a vegetative state for weeks, and now she's back home with me as her caregiver. Her boys are only 8 and 5. They've lost their dad recently, and now have a mom who can't even take care of herself. I had to quit my job and leave my life behind to help raise them. But it's like living with a stranger. She argues about ridiculous things, cries all the time. My parents are spending their retirement savings on her treatments, and it's killing them. Every time I look at her, I feel a wave of hatred wash over me. It's like I'm trapped in this nightmare, and I don't know how much longer I can keep pretending.
I'll never forget the day my neighbor's ego got crushed, and his life changed forever. We'd lived in our rural Arizona home for 8 years, surrounded by 5-acre lots and a laid-back community. He claimed we'd built our fence pole on his property line, a claim that turned out to be completely fabricated. After months of escalating threats and intimidation, we finally got a land survey done. The results revealed the property line was 20 feet into his yard, not ours. But here's the kicker. He'd been trying to steal from us all along, using our property as leverage for his own disputes with other neighbors. The final confrontation was priceless. He showed up at our front yard, screaming obscenities and making a complete fool of himself. Since then, we haven't seen hide nor hair of him. It's possible we scared him off for good. We're building an ugly fence to mark the real property line now, but honestly, it's just a reminder that some people can't handle a little bit of truth and humility.
My neighbors thought they'd found a free parking spot, but they ended up stuck in our lot for hours, literally frozen out of their cars. We own 2 apartment buildings and let tenants park in our lot. But strangers started showing up, blocking the street with their cars. I blocked one in myself, called the cops, and put up tow signs. It worked until New Year's Eve. I came home to find every parking spot taken, even on the street, trapping themselves. Below 0 temperatures, no room for my own car. I'm beyond furious. I got creative with our lawn sprinklers, hooking up a hose and blasting hot water onto the cars every half hour. Ice formed everywhere, in locks, between window seals, even on grills. The owners thought they were stuck for good, but we just smiled and waited until morning. When the cops arrived, they were holding back laughter. It turned out these people had been told to park here by their friend, who owned an apartment down the road, the same guy who'd driven over our bushes months ago. I showed them the tow signs and gave them a choice: move your cars or get towed. They got ticketed, then towed, because nobody could drive away with their car encased in ice. My daughter's Make-A-Wish grant was supposed to be a joyous celebration, but I couldn't bear the thought of pretending everything was okay when she was suffering so much. Our 4-year-old has a rare blood disorder that leaves her with unpredictable nosebleeds and terrifying episodes of internal bleeding. She's learned to prepare herself for these attacks, gathering her bloody nose kit and emergency supplies in case things take a turn for the worse. But it's not just the physical pain I'm worried about, it's the emotional toll it takes on us all. We've tried every treatment available, but nothing seems to work. As I watched my little girl suffer, I realized that her wish, whatever it might be, was already being granted in a way she couldn't even understand. Her body is slowly breaking down, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. The hardest truth hit me like a punch to the gut. My daughter is that sick.
My wife's friend had the nerve to insult her at our wedding, calling her comfy, like it was some kind of failing. I let it slide initially, but then she kept pushing, trying to get us to dance on our wedding night because it's what normal people do. At the final brunch, she greeted my wife with a condescending tone, making it clear she thought we weren't making an effort. I've been doling out compliments designed to cut deep, telling her she's too comfortable with who she is, that she doesn't care about appearances. It's been a delicate game of psychological manipulation, watching her squirm as she tries to figure out if I'm being genuine or not. And let me tell you, it's been satisfying. But it won't be over until this person is out of our lives for good.
My dad's girlfriend tried to introduce herself to me as my new mom when I was 12, and it was the final straw. Growing up, my mom had raised me on her own, financing everything while our dad did nothing, not even paying child support. He was abusive, and after a particularly rough incident at age 6 weeks, he left for good. When I was 16, I came home from school to find his new girlfriend's car parked outside. She looked at me with saccharine sweetness and said, "Hi, I'm your new mom." That was it. My rage switch flipped. I told her to get lost, turned around, and left. They followed me, begging for an explanation, until I shoved off the girlfriend's hug attempt. I walked 20 minutes before texting my mom to come pick me up. It sealed my fate, cutting him out of my life for good. A dark memory that still haunts me today.
I got suspended from my job for a no-show, but here's the thing. It wasn't even my fault. My manager had told me I didn't need to come in that morning, but somehow that just didn't count with our owner. When I calmly explained what my manager said, I found out he'd already talked to the new girl and gotten a different story from her. Next thing I know, I'm suspended for a week without pay, supposedly because I didn't have another waiter cover me. But here's the kicker. When I got back to work after my vacation, everything was cool again. The owner even called me on Friday night, begging for help because they were so short-staffed. It turned out it was a pretty sweet deal. Get suspended, take a free vacation, and then come back to work with everyone being nice to me again.
I walked out of the courthouse with a finalized divorce decree in my hand, still reeling from the lack of a fight. My ex had abandoned our marriage, and I'd been left to pick up the pieces. But as I opened that email, something unexpected happened. Relief washed over me like a wave. Later that night, champagne in hand, I toasted with my new partner. We laughed, we danced, and then we made our way to bed. The next day, my brother-in-law and his fiancée came over with some shocking news. My ex-husband's mistress had broken things off with him, and he was drowning in whiskey every night. I felt a pang of sadness for the man who had once been my partner. But as I looked at myself in the mirror, I realized something profound. I'm the one who held it together, the steady pillar that kept our walls from crumbling. And when I think back on those lost days, I see him now, the man who was lost without me. My cousin's ex-girlfriend, the woman he dumped over the phone in 2003 after a 2-year relationship, is now his boss. I couldn't believe it when my dad told me she'd risen to that position, especially since I remembered how she deserved so much better from him. The fights between them were endless. My dad and I witnessed one where he tried to tell her not to accept a job offer that would pay her double what he made. A month after that, she broke up with him over the phone. I found out she's been happily married for 8 years now, has 2 daughters, and is confident and radiant. When I joked about how she'd punish my cousin, she just laughed and said she was grateful he broke up with her. It made her realize he wasn't right for her. My justice boner was raging the whole time. She won, and she bloody well knew it.
I woke up to the news that Russia was poised to invade Ukraine, my home. I'm panicking, feeling like my entire country is on the brink of collapse. As a Ukrainian, I've seen them take piece after piece of our land, erasing everything we stand for. Putin's actions are like a twisted game of power, where innocent lives are sacrificed for his ego. He claims to be above the law, deciding the fate of nations with an iron fist. My heart is racing, my mind screaming. What can we do against such a monstrous force? If the unthinkable happens, if we lose this war, will anyone believe that we fought to preserve our identity, our democracy? Or will history reduce us to nothing more than a footnote in Putin's twisted legacy?
My 14-year-old daughter saw me cook a single strip of bacon, and suddenly the kitchen was no longer her space. She claimed it was contaminated with animal products, and that I'd somehow tainted our entire fridge with grease from my bacon breakfast. At first, I thought she was just being dramatic. I rinsed the pan after every use, and washed my hands before touching anything else in the kitchen. But as the days went by, her requests became more and more extreme. A separate, colored pan for vegan food only. No meat products in the house at all. I was torn between indulging her and standing firm. My wife thinks I should give in to make our daughter feel comfortable cooking with us, but I'm not ready to surrender my bacon just yet. It's my home too, and I refuse to let one meal dictate the entire atmosphere of our kitchen.
I had no idea my sister's promise to save me from our abusive home was a desperate attempt to escape her own homeless situation. We exchanged letters, and in one, I confessed my fear of the long summer holiday. She showed up on our doorstep, told my dad I was going with her for the summer, and we took the night train north. But instead of taking me home, she dumped me in a remote campsite where we spent the next few months hiking and surviving off the land. It was the most incredible summer of my life, but not what you'd expect from a kid like me. I learned to fish, trap birds, and cook over an open flame. Years later, I discovered the real reason she took me in. Her family was about to be evicted, and they had nowhere else to go. My sister's promise wasn't just a gesture of kindness, it was a lifeline. Today, we're heading back out on the trails for our own emergency adventure, a chance to relive those magical summers and prove that no matter what life throws at us, we can always find a way forward. I came home from work to find my wheelchair blocked by a car parked in a no-parking zone again. The owner saw me and came out screaming, getting in my face until I tried to walk past her. That's when she grabbed me by the throat. In a split second, our apartment's neighbors burst out of their unit and pulled her off me. The police arrived, paramedics rushed in because of the blood from her acrylic nails, and I ended up at the ER for a syncope episode. The police found a stolen car without insurance, needles scattered everywhere, and a gun marked as stolen in her apartment. Her own 8-year-old child recorded the whole thing at her behest. The DA told me it was assault with aggravating circumstances, and with 7 prior convictions for assault, she's going down. Now she's facing 30 years or more behind bars, lost custody of her kid, and will never set foot in that apartment again. I'm still trying to process the whole ordeal, but one thing's clear, justice was served.
I walked in on my ex, sleeping with my stepsister in our bed, the same bed where I'd once envisioned raising kids together. The betrayal was a slap in the face, but it wasn't just her that cut deep. It was him too. He loved me, or so he said. Fast forward to my next relationship, and I thought I'd finally found someone who could see past the scars. But it turns out I'm just a magnet for cheaters. The final blow came when he blocked me everywhere. I've lost everything, family, friends, and now myself. I'm losing myself in this darkness, but what if it's not about them at all? What if it's about me being disposable? That thought terrifies me more than anything else, because for the first time, I'm starting to believe it might be true.
I've been living with my best friend's son, paying half his rent, but what he doesn't know is that I'm only doing it because I was broke and desperate. His mom set us up, said he had trouble making friends and keeping roommates around. I agreed, and now I'm stuck in this nightmare apartment with a roommate who thinks the world revolves around him. He's disgusting, helpless, and has no social awareness. Every conversation is about his drama-filled life or how he's been wronged by everyone. I've had to put up with it for months, all while collecting my paycheck from his mom each month. But the worst part is that I feel bad for him, like I'm somehow taking advantage of his vulnerability.